So, Anastasia, thank you very much for being here with me for this testimonial on our coaching, which lasted approximately 3 months. So I'm going to ask you first to introduce yourself. So who are you? What do you do? And where do you live?
Okay. Thank you very much also for finding the time. My name is Anastasia. I live in Prague, and when we started the coaching with you, Elizabeth, I was a student. I was finishing my master's. I was in the last year of my master's, and currently I work in a IT for a pharmaceutical company in Prague, here in Czech Republic also.
Very good. Okay, so you found a job in between this coaching.
Yes.
Okay, full-time job. All right. Mm-hmm. So could you explain why you chose to be coached? So who were you before this coaching started?
Yes, it was sort of a lucky moment for me that I found out that I could have some kind of support and a coaching program like this, because I never thought I needed it. But at the same time, I found myself in a situation where I really had the feeling that I cannot help myself anymore. And I just stopped trying even also because I was a student and I was always an A student, very good at university, very good at school. But at the same time, I struggled with finding some motivation and my objectives beyond school. So I really didn't know how to guide myself and get to the life that I would like to see myself in. And I really didn't know how to manage to do that. So I was trying, and I often very felt demotivated even for doing the school things. I struggled a lot with procrastination. Sometimes it would be really difficult, and I just really didn't know what to do with myself, really. So I thought that would be it. That's forever how it would be, and it was really pressing on me. I didn't want that because, again, as an A student, I already felt like I was failing, and at the same time, I couldn't do anything about it. So I was in this vicious closed circle with myself that was really pressing.
Yes, I remember when you came to me, you were very confused, and you kept thinking that you were not a good student or not good enough, and you lacked a lot in self-confidence. Exactly.
Yes, that's very true.
So we started working together, and so what was the most impactful moment for you in this coaching? Or maybe there were 1, 2, or 3, I don't know.
Definitely for me, the coaching was a complete journey. I really feel like this because even thinking back to how I felt before, to me personally, it's a big change, and it's a huge difference for many things. Of course, life also goes on, but I remember one of the first impactful moments, which were just in one of the first conversations where you were asking just some questions that I never thought of framing that way, about my feelings and about understanding my own thoughts a little bit and trying to understand where it's coming from. And with that, there was also the emotional release. There was the emotional release session, which opened my eyes on a lot of moments. And I was very skeptical when I heard about it at first. I didn't understand, and I think my mind was resisting a bit to understand it and to accept that it would work. But it was very eye-opening, and even the things that I never thought were affecting me in any way, that I started to work through them. And to some extent I am continuing to do so still. And then the different exercises also were helping throughout the process. And it was very important for me to keep on track with it and to be to some extent responsible and answering to you, hoping that I would succeed.
Yes.
Accountable. Yes, exactly. Yes. So just this thought that I wouldn't like to fail you and myself at the same time, it was very important to me. And I felt like no, made me feel like I'm failing myself in the first place. I was always told to try hard for others, but maybe not necessarily to just take care of myself. And I think one of our last exercises was also in understanding my mission in life, and was understanding how to get there and what would be the factors in my environment or in the people that I have in my life that would help me get there, and in both ways. So how to get there, and if it was already accomplished, how it would shape up everything else. And that was just such a simple but emotional exercise and it just made a lot of sense to me. Suddenly it just came together, and that felt really nice, that I'm not lost, but there is actually something that makes sense.
Yes, I remember that moment too. It was it's a powerful exercise. That's the miracle of the logical levels. And so that just guided you to the different steps in this exercise so that you could phrase what motivates you, so that we could find your motivation, how you can contribute to the world. And so now I guess you can keep this in mind each time that you may feel a little bit less motivated than usual. You can keep this in mind, right?
Yes.
All right. So today I'm going to ask you, Anastasia, what did you believe about yourself that you don't believe anymore?
I really like this question, to be honest, because there were many things like this. I think even it's not only things that I just believed, but it's also things that I told myself, and because of that kept believing in. So there were really a lot of things, like feeling that I am stupid and telling myself very frequently that I'm an idiot and I'm not capable of getting out again of this kind of behaviors that I wasn't happy with. I don't believe that anymore. Sometimes, of course, there are still moments when I don't feel completely satisfied with how I approach some projects or things, but I don't tell myself I'm an idiot anymore. It just went away. So it feels really good.
It feels good. And proof is that you were offered this job full time. So, the people who hired you probably don't believe that you're stupid. Otherwise, they would be really foolish to have hired you, right?
Yes, definitely.
So if you don't think you're stupid or dumb anymore, so what do you think you are? Or who do you think you are instead?
I feel that I am actually capable of moving towards both my mission and any levels of objective I set. So even if it's an objective until the end of the year, or an objective really to achieve my mission and to build my life around it, I know I can do it if I just agree with myself and actually approach myself in the way that I know I work, which also was a big revelation through the coaching, that I don't always have to kick myself, but I can actually come to an agreement with myself and enjoy doing things that I sometimes have to, but without feeling like I'm forcing myself to do them. So it just, I just know that I can do things that I set my mind to. And I always knew it, but there was a part of me that kept suppressing this a little bit before the coaching, that would just keep sort of shushing and saying, no, it's not true, you cannot. And this is gone for me. I know that I can. Yes, sometimes, of course, I'm human. I feel lazy. I feel less motivated, but I have the ideas and the understanding of how to address that without kicking myself, without being mean to myself, just knowing that it's okay. I am still capable. It's really okay. So this is just, it's a big change for me. Really, I breathe better in everything I do really now.
That's wonderful. And so if I may ask, how do you take care of yourself now that the coaching is over?
How do I take care of myself? I definitely take time sometimes to reflect a little bit if I don't have a very good day. I do write sometimes. I stopped writing every day, really, since the coaching. I don't really do that. But I know sometimes that when I get into my emotions, I know, okay, I need to write a little bit. I need to write it out and sort things out a little bit. And it helps. And it also involves a bit of this level of conversation with yourself and just reflecting and taking apart things that are not helpful and just figuring out how to go from there. And I still sometimes also use some breathing techniques, actually, because I still have sometimes the moments where I get stressed or I get in my head. So it really helps a lot to just refocus a little bit and to gather my thoughts and emotions back together. And I think it's just also really helpful to center from time to time. Doesn't matter how often anymore. It's just even the realization of when I get into this spiral that I can take a step back and say, oof, okay, I need a bit of breath, or I need a bit of time alone, and it helps and it balances me out. So this is really nice for me.
Okay. Now, if I may ask you, so what are your plans for the future, for the coming year, let's say?
Yes. So since I just started the full-time job really in September, I would like to focus on that and on just making sure that I deliver as well as I can, just perform my best. And I'm really motivated for it right now because I can finally focus on my job without necessarily just worrying about what am I going to do next and worrying about my studies. But I can just grow in my job. So really grow both professionally and continue growing personally. I really would like to now finally not have studies as the most important and scary thing in my life, but figuring out what I want to do and where I want to grow. So I'm really focusing on self-growth in professional ways and personal ways. That's the main idea for the next year, definitely.
So that's fantastic. And I wish you, of course, the best for this coming year and the best for for this position in this company. Thank you very much for this conversation. And maybe we'll talk soon during the next coaching session in the future if you have some issues in your job. So of course I'll be here for you if you need. So thank you very much.
So much.